constitution. Opposition hails the verdict. Farm Neta's controversial jibe at Prime Minister says Modi's graft needs to be cut. Centre's top advisor takes on the farmers. Round 3 of government farmers talks underway. Kisan Neta who said have to cut Modi graft also part of the meeting. Will the deadlock end? Big political quake before 2024 polls. Former J&K Chief Minister Farooq hints at joining NDA in future. Says cannot rule out any possibility but will go it alone in 2024 Lok Sabha polls. However, a part of the India alliance for now. Massive setback for Sharad Pawar. Maharashtra Assembly Speaker Rahul Narwekar rules out in favour of Ajit Pawar. Says Ajit MLAs cannot be disqualified. Days after 8 Navy veteran freed, Modi meets Emir of Qatar, holds bilateral meeting. Prime Minister Modi accorded ceremonial welcome during Qatar visit. All right, the crucial Farmer Centre meet is to begin shortly now. It's round 3 of Centre Farmer Talks. MSP guarantees the big flashpoint. Will there be a middle path? Can Farmers Centre reach a consensus? Jagjit Singh Dalewal and Jarnail Singh amongst leaders arriving at Mahatma Gandhi State Institute of Public Administration in Chandigarh for meeting with ministers Arjun Munda, Nityanand Rai and Piyush Goyal. All 3 ministers have been trying to mediate with farmers. This is the 3rd meeting till now. It's been deadlocked. There has nothing been that has come out of it. On one end, the farmers who are right now squatting at the Shambhu border where Punjab meets Haryana, stalled by the Haryana police from marching all the way to Delhi, say that the full force of the state has come upon them in terms of water cannons, rubber bullets, tear gas shelling. On the other hand, the administration very clear that in no terms will they be allowed to make their way to Delhi. In midst of all of this, the meeting is going on right now with the government and the farmers. I want to immediately connect right now to my colleague Kamaljeet Sandhu, who's joining us for more. Kamal, if, as per the last time, the government has said that there is no meeting point where MSP comes into question, are farmers also going to give a little, or for them it's MSP legalization of it or nothing?
Well, it's difficult that the farmers are going to concede to any of the concessions or any of the liberties that the government would want to take, is because the march is already on its way. It's at Shambhu border, at Kanori border. So the lines are drawn. Now, there has to be some out-of-the-box thinking, whether it's the government or, for that matter, the farmers. Who blinks first is a key question. But meanwhile, the demands are same. But the key and the moot point is obviously the MSP legislation, the C2 plus 50% guarantee as far as procurement of crops are concerned. There are obviously the other demands, as of Justice of Lakhimpur Kheri. The other is obviously the sort of compensation that they're looking at, especially for those who have died during the year-long 2020 farmers' protest. So there are several other demands, but the moot point is obviously the MSP. And now with the other farmer unions joining in solidarity, for the sense we saw BKU, we also saw the other groups like the Gurnaam Singh Chaduni group, they lending their solidarity to farmers, especially in the wake of Haryana police action against them. That's going to add trouble, because remember there's a Mahapanchayat soon by Rakesh Tiketh. So thereafter there seems to be a lot of pressure now coming in. But the point is, can the government afford the MSP? Because if this was something on the table, they would have already done it. Now the farmers have been alleging that the government is only delaying tactics, that they're not really serious about this entire thing, that they waited for 7-8 months before they actually took to streets. And it's only when they've hit the road, that's when the government actually came on the table. Now on 8th and 12th, there was series of rounds of meeting, and it went on till very late in the night, around 12 o'clock. This time around, the farmers have been very punctual. They were here just before 5 o'clock. The ministers are not inside, but we do expect that in another couple of minutes, around 7:15 or so, the 3 ministers Arjun Munda, Piyush Goyal and Nityanand Rai will make it here. But do they have anything new to offer, or they're still looking to buy some more time? That is what the moot question is. Meanwhile, it does seem that the Aam Aadmi Party and the oppositions are already supporting the farmers. And when it comes to all the sort of statements which are being made, that is something that the farmers are looking at. Meanwhile, it's down to business, and it doesn't seem that there is any easy way out. It does seem that this is in for a long haul, and obviously the way the conversation between the government and the farmers and the standoff which continues at Shambhu border seems a point of concern. We know that over 130 farmers have been injured so far. Over 24 policemen have been injured. Now, there should not be any sort of violence or casualty which the government is concerned about, but it all boils down to whether they arrive at a solution first of all.
All right, so that's the big moot point, whether they will arrive at a solution or not. Kamaljeet Sandhu, thank you for getting us the latest right now. The farm leaders locked in conversation with the three government representatives. It's the third round till now. It's hit a stalemate. Will there be any breakthrough today? One really needs to look at that. Meanwhile, while we wait on developments on that front, let's quickly cut across to the other story, which was developing very quick and fast from the state of West Bengal. Sandeshkhali showdown has intensified between the Bharatiya Janata Party and the TMC. But in midst of all of this, viewers, there is a bigger question that needs to be asked, because if allegations have been made, which at least for now the TMC police might deny, but if there are women who have accused somebody of sexual assault, then a probe needs to be conducted before any denial comes in from the government. Until now, there have been denials before a probe. So the question we asked today, will Mamata Banerjee, the Chief Minister of West Bengal, conduct a probe and then maybe come up with a finding? With Mamata Banerjee now saying that the allegations of rape and torture of women is wrong. Speaking in the State Assembly, Mamata Banerjee said that those giving testimonies of rape and abduction were BJP workers. She says all the women who have given testimony of rape and abduction belong to the BJP. But the question again arises, even if they are from the BJP, should a fair and a free probe be conducted even if these women come from the BJP camp? That's the big question.
Sandeshkhali showdown has intensified. Protests have now spread outside the restive village. And as tensions escalate, West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has spoken out. She's blaming the BJP and RSS.
আপনারা জানেন জীবনে আমি কোনো অন্যায়কে কোনোদিন প্রশ্রয় দিইনি এবং আমি ইনিশিয়েটিভ নিয়ে স্টেট কমিশন পাঠিয়েছি, আমাদের অ্যাডমিনিস্ট্রেশন পাঠিয়েছি, 17 জনকে অ্যারেস্ট করা হয়েছে এবং আপনারা দেখেছেন যারা মুখে মাস্ক পরে পরে ছবি তুলছে ধরাও পড়েছে বিজেপির কর্মী।
The West Bengal police says that it is yet to receive any formal complaints of rape and torture. But women in Sandeshkhali reveal a different story.
অত্যাচার হতো, মেয়েদেরকে তুলে নিয়ে যেত, বৌদিকে তুলে নিয়ে যেত, নিয়ে গিয়ে হচ্ছে কি মিটিংয়ের নাম করে তুলে নিয়ে গিয়ে করতো, টর্চার করতো, কাকে রান্না করাবে, কাকে ইয়ে করবে, ভালো ভালো মেয়েদের দেখে হচ্ছে কি ভিতরে রাখবে।
হ্যাঁ, মানে মহিলাদের উপরে প্রচুর পরিমাণে অত্যাচার করা হতো। যেমন রাতের বেলা মহিলাদেরকে তুলে নিয়ে যাওয়া হতো বাড়ির থেকে পার্টি অফিসে, আবার হচ্ছে মিটিং মিছিলের জন্য যখন তখন ডেকে পাঠাতেন। রাত নেই, 10টা নেই, 12টা নেই, যখন ডাকবে তখন যেতে হবে। না যদি যেত তাদের স্বামীদেরকে তুলে নিয়ে গিয়ে পার্টি অফিসে কোদালের ব্যাট দিয়ে মারধর করা হতো। এমনকি ছোট ছোট বাচ্চা শিশুদেরকেও 14-15 বছর বয়সী বাচ্চা শিশুদেরকে নিয়ে গিয়ে তাদের হাতে মদের বোতল এবং হচ্ছে পিস্তল ধরিয়ে দিত যে রাজনীতিতে করতেই হবে, পড়াশুনো করে কি হবে, দিদি তোদের জন্য তোর মাদের লক্ষ্মীর ভাণ্ডার দিচ্ছে, বোনেদের কন্যাশ্রী দিচ্ছে, এত কিছু প্রকল্প দিদি তোদের জন্য দিচ্ছে, কিন্তু তোরা যদি রাজনীতি না করিস তাহলে তোদের বাড়িতে তোর মা বাবাকে খুন করা হবে, মার্ডার করা হবে।
On Thursday, National Scheduled Caste Commission delegation met victims of alleged sexual assault.
जो मुख्यमंत्री है, जहां खुद एक नाम ममता है, मैं फिर बोल रही हूँ, ममता नाम की चीज नहीं है। आप जितना छुपाना चाहती थी, आप आंकड़े नहीं बताना चाहती हैं, क्योंकि आप एफआईआर दर्ज ही नहीं करती हैं। अनुसूचित जाति के लोग हैं, उनके साथ आप घर बुला बुला कर टार्चर करते हैं। आपके नेता, आप उनको संरक्षण देती हैं, आप उनको संभाल कर अपने पनाह देती हैं। तो आपको मैं चाहती हूँ कि देश आपको माफ नहीं करेगा। राष्ट्रपति को बताना चाहते हैं कि यहाँ पे राष्ट्रपति शासन लागू करिए, नहीं तो ये हमारे लोग यहाँ सुरक्षित नहीं रह पाएंगे।
Other than the allegations of sexual harassment and exploitation, there are charges of systematic land grabbing and socio-economic exploitation against Trinamool's Sheikh Shahjahan and his henchmen. But Mamata Banerjee is standing firmly behind her party neta.
একটা এলাকাকে অশান্ত করার চেষ্টা করেছে। আগে টার্গেট শেখ শাহজাহান, ওকে টার্গেট করে ইডি ঢুকলো, তারপরেই সবাইকে বার করে দিয়ে তারপরে ওখানে আদিবাসী মাইনরিটিদের মধ্যে ঝগড়া লাগিয়ে দিল।
Political temperatures are also rising. BJP cadres hit the streets from Hooghly to West Midnapur to South 24 Parganas, where violent clashes were witnessed between Bengal police and BJP workers. BJP President JP Nadda has also formed a fact-finding committee that is headed to Sandeshkhali.
ममता जी को ईओपी में बंद करना चाहिए और उसका पीछे एनआईए लगा देना चाहिए। रोहिंग्या को कौन संरक्षण दिया? यहाँ संदेशखाली में सौरबड़िया में शाहजहां का घर का बगल में 150 रोहिंग्या परिवार को घुसाया। ये बांग्लादेश का बॉर्डर है।
Spine-chilling testimonies and a political showdown that is exploding Sandeshkhali continues to be a big flashpoint in state of war Bengal. Bureau Report, India Today.
Colleague Ritik Mandal joining us now live from Kolkata with more on the story. Ritik, Mamata Banerjee and the TMC police maintains that all these women who've made these allegations are BJP workers. Despite being BJP workers, it is the moral obligation of the police and the government to investigate, probe that matter. Is it happening?
Yes, exactly. At a time when politics is only escalating,
All right, we're going to try and cut across to Ritik Mandal in just about a minute. But once again, viewers, right now, the TMC police says, I beg your pardon, the Kolkata and the West Bengal police says that they haven't really got anything in writing or a formal complaint by any woman. Is that true? That needs to be investigated. On the other account, you have a Mamata Banerjee, the Chief Minister of West Bengal, who stated that all the women who've made these allegations are BJP workers. But having said that, and I want to bring in Ritik back into this conversation, the fact remains, Ritik, even if they are BJP workers or not BJP workers, a probe needs to be finished before a denial is issued.
yes, as I was mentioning that at a time when politics is only unfolding over the Sandeshkhali incident, you have a special all-women 10-member top that are investigating the matter. As far as police top officials are concerned, we are giving to and understand that in spite of last 2 days, the fact they tried to reach out to those women, though were subjected to crime, heinous crime like sexual assault. There is a serious allegation of systemic sexual assaults against women. But as per the top officials concerned, they said that there is no specific complaint related to sexual assault against women. Though there is a large section of women, they are coming out and lodging the fact that how they were undergoing threatening or they are being targeted. Their family members were assaulted. They were beaten up several times with the mastermind Sheikh Shahjahan and his goons, and particularly other leaders. But it is a flashpoint, and continuously TMC is maintaining suspense over the whereabouts of Sheikh Shahjahan. Remember, Sheikh Shahjahan is the mastermind. He's a strong person for the party and beneficiary as per the election mechanism for the party is concerned. Sheikh Shahjahan remains as a top leader as per the politics over this Sandeshkhali area is concerned. Remember, today Mamata Banerjee claimed that it is the Bharatiya Janata Party and RSS mechanism that is engineered the systematic, protest, a violent protest against TMC leader So immediately after her comment, a very significant comment came
Okay.
on the in assembly. BJP hit back stating that they demanded NIA late probe, and as per Shubhendu Adhikari is concerned, he will be moving to court challenging, the present situation that is being prevailing over Sandeshkhali's
Okay.
incident. Back to you, Chetan.
All right, Ritvik, appreciate you joining us for that quick update. We're going to continue to come back to you and get the latest. Meanwhile, let's cut across to the most important political development or constitutional development as well, viewers. The Supreme Court today, after 7 years, invalidated electoral bonds and termed them unconstitutional. The top court of the country has now directed the SBI to cease issuing electoral bonds with the immediate effect and submit data of donors to the ECI, who will then publish the details furnished by SBI on their official website. Take a look at this report.
A 7-year-old election funding system scrapped. The Supreme Court has ruled electoral bonds to be unconstitutional.
The electoral bond scheme and the impugned provisions to the extent that they infringe upon the right to information of the voter by anonymizing contributions through electoral bonds are violative of Article 19(1)(a). We have applied the proportionality standard to determine if the infringement of the right to information is justified.
Introduced in 2017 and first sold in 2018, the secretive electoral bonds were touted as revolutionary for political donations. Critics argued that the anonymity provided by the scheme led to corruption and an unfair advantage among political parties.
At a primary level, political contributions give a seat at the table to the contributor. That is, it enhances access to legislators. This access also translates into influence over policy making.
Individuals or companies could buy tax-exempt bonds ranging from 1,000 rupees to 1 crore rupees from the SBI, which were then given to chosen political parties and later exchanged for cash. Data showed that between 2018 and March 2022, the majority of these donations went to the BJP. Headed by the CGI, the 5-judge bench directed the State Bank of India to cease issuing electoral bonds, reveal buyer identities, and provide information on bond redemption by political parties. The Supreme Court's decision came in response to petitions challenging the amendments made by the Finance Act 2017 that established the electoral bonds scheme.
Big day for Indian democracy, big day for transparency, big day for the right to information under 19(1)(a), big day for striking out clearly unconstitutional provisions, big day for bringing transparency into the political system, big day for exposing political parties who are participating in scams, biggest scams in the history of this country in the last many years. It's a big day for many, many, many reasons.
The opposition welcomed the decision. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi denounced electoral bonds as a means for kickbacks.
How can 95% of the proceeds of electoral bonds go to one political party, which is the ruling party? Therefore, our question is, in lieu of that money, have you sold, have you given coal mines to those companies? Have you allowed those companies to operate airports? What is the quid pro quo? This is our question.
Conversely, the BJP maintained that the scheme aimed to bring transparency to electoral donations.
चुनाव में सुधार के लिए ये हमारी मोदी जी की सरकार का एक प्रयास नहीं था। आपको याद होगा, वोटर लिस्ट पर आपकी फोटो छपती है, ये भी उस समय हुआ था ना। आज बड़ी संख्या में जो ईवीएम्स लाए गए, उससे बूथ कैप्चरिंग बंद हुई है ना। ये भी उसी प्रामाणिक प्रयास में चुनाव को पारदर्शी बनाने का प्रयास था। अब माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने एक फैसला किया है, तो हम उनका सम्मान करते हैं।
This ruling arrives nearly 2 months ahead of the Lok Sabha elections. With Nalini Sharma, Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, let's cut across to my colleague Nalini Sharma, who's going to break it down for us and what would be the implications of it, Nalini. Nalini, as historic it might be coming in after 7 years, it's a complicated order. Will you break it down for us and what it means in terms of political implications in the next 2 months?
Well, Preeti, first and foremost, the biggest takeaway is that by the 13th of March, the Election Commission has been asked to publish all the details of the electoral bonds and the donations that have been received through them to electoral parties on the Election Commission website. Now, this, for the first time, is going to open the Pandora's box of exactly which individual and which corporate entity has donated how much amount of money to which political party, which is essentially going to pave the way to determine as to whether or not, A, there was any quid pro quo between the corporate entities and the government in power. Second, as to whether or not any corporate interests were put above the public interest in the form of these quid pro quo in return for the donations that have been received. Now, ideally, even though electoral bonds are supposed to be anonymous, but the Supreme Court categorically has said that the right to privacy of these donors and the anonymity cannot be held above the right of the public to know, because at the end of the day, in a democracy, it is essential that free and fair elections happen, and the public, which is the ultimate decider of which party comes into power, should have all the information before they step into the voting booth, which also means where the political party that they are going to vote for is getting its funding from, and as to whether or not that funding is impacting any policy that is being brought by the government, especially if it's a corporate policy that might impact corporate interests of several individuals or corporate entities.
All right, Nalini, appreciate you joining us for that quick breakdown. I want to also now cut across to Nitin Sethi, founding editor, the Reporters Collective. He'd carried out a series of investigations on electoral bonds. And on that note, Mr. Sethi, it's come full circle, 7 years. Is there some validation of your work?
I think more than gratification, there's a sense of relief. It's a victory for democracy, for people who fought for transparency and proper electoral processes. It's also a small victory, I would think, for good investigative journalism. It shows to citizens that good, rigorous journalism can bring good changes for the Indian democracy. I would think the country should be thankful to transparency activists such as Commodore Lokesh Batra, organizations such as ADR, which worked for many years in the court and outside to get information, to present it to courts in the right manner. There is some happiness that we at the Reporters Collective played a role in revealing these documents to citizens, which led to an outcry, and that got used as evidences in the courts to get the order that we have got today.
Well, that's fabulous reportage, sir. Appreciate you joining us there. We're going to take it forward at 8 p.m. But on the other side, on to the point this evening, what's really happening with the India alliance. The latest ally to ditch India, or not India so much, but the Congress, is the NC. That's coming up next. Stay with us.
मामे खान से साहित्य आज तक कोलकाता में लाइव। फ्री एंट्री के लिए अभी रजिस्टर करें www.aajtak.in/साहित्य पर या मिस्ड कॉल दीजिए 9310330033 पर।
शिकवे इतने हैं कि किताब लिख दूं, सब्र इतना है कि एक अल्फाज भी ना कहूं। एक बार फिर वो वक्त आ चुका है जब मिलना है हमें और आपको। साहित्य के सितारों का महाकुंभ अब होने जा रहा है सिटी ऑफ जॉय कोलकाता में। डेट नोट कीजिए फटाफट।
17 और 18 फरवरी स्वभूमि द हेरिटेज प्लाजा कोलकाता। फ्री एंट्री के लिए अभी रजिस्टर करें www.aajtak.in/साहित्य पर या मिस्ड कॉल दीजिए 9310330033 पर।
और इन 3 दिनों के विषयों में आपको पता है कि ठीक है कि उनका कॉल जो है वो तो 13 फरवरी को हम दिल्ली जाएंगे, वो सब था। और देखिए, मैं इसमें थोड़ा सा भूमिका ये रखूंगा कि पहली बात तो कि विषय जो डिमांड है वो हरियाणा सरकार से नहीं है, वो सारी डिमांड चूंकि केंद्र सरकार से जुड़ी हुई है। और उस केंद्र सरकार से जुड़ने के बाद उन्होंने आह्वान भी ये किया कि हम दिल्ली जाएंगे। मुझे लगता है कि दिल्ली जाना हर एक का लोकतांत्रिक अधिकार है, ऐसा नहीं कि नहीं जाना, लेकिन कैसे जाना और क्या मोटिव है जाने का, ये जरूर ध्यान करना होता है। और इस विषय का अनुभव हम पिछले साल देख चुके हैं। हम 14 फसलें अपनी ये एमएसपी पर खरीदते हैं, वहां 2 फसलें सेंटर वो तो खरीदनी क्योंकि सेंटर का एक मैंडेट है, धान है और गेहूं है। तीसरा अगर कह सकते तो गन्ना है, गन्ने पर को भी अशोर्ड प्राइस के ऊपर लेते हैं, हमारी मिलें हैं, सरकारी हैं या कोऑपरेटिव करती हैं। इसके अलावा पंजाब में तो और कोई फसल नहीं खरीदते।
Vivek Oberoi joining us here in India today. You're here in Abu Dhabi. What brings you here? You've seen the temple, you told me.
Beautiful, incredible temple. I've come here many times before. I've had the opportunity, the good fortune to do seva in this mandir while it was being constructed. But every time I come, it fills me with new joy. And BAPS, the organization that has built this, has done this seva at 1,200 places in the world. But I have to say that in the Desert Shan, the way this shines, it's a shining example of a bridge between two countries, to religions, to people. The government of UAE, His Highness the Sheikh, they have to be commended, they have to be appreciated for the largeness of heart, for their generosity, for their contribution towards this mandir and to make it a reality along with Modi ji.
I know you're not a foreign affairs expert or a strategic expert, but I have to ask you, what do you think is the significance? Great. What do you think is the significance of having this kind of a massive temple in the UAE, in the Middle East?
Well, it has multiple significances. I think one is a cultural significance. Our cultures have been connected for hundreds of years. We've had trade, we've enjoyed relationships. We never translated them into political relationships. The last decade has been exceptional in the translation and the growth of a very strong political bond between our countries, between the UAE and India. The UAE is a great entry point into all of the Middle East. I think that this has already started redefining the relationship between India and the Middle East. So I think it has multiple significances, and this stands as a shining example.
I'm going to have you on my show the next time as a guest, but thank you very much. Thank you.
Were told it's very, very sensitive since their lives were at stake and the government was at it. What did you know of the efforts that the government was making, if at all, at that time?
See, at this time, I would whatever we were coming to know is through consular access and through family members. So we came to know that MEA is making statements, and through that they were in direct touch with the Qatari government, and all these things we came to know through the statements which were made by the ministry.
You also, you and all the other Navy wives and families went and met the External Affairs Minister, Dr. Jaishankar. You met other officials in the ministry. What were you told? What was happening, ma'am?
Full confidence they had given us. They said, you don't have to worry. We are working on that, and this is our objective, to bring them back to their country.
And you were confident because you also traveled to Qatar several times.
Yes, multiple times I've traveled to Qatar, but I was very confident. After meeting our EM, Honorable EM, we were very confident they are going to come back to their country. That we did not have any doubt. They are not going to come back.
So that was very heartening. Of course, this is something about Fauji families, that their morale is always high, even in a difficult situation. It's perhaps brought up with that never say die spirit, is it?
I wanted to say that it is actually the military training which has made me continue for 17-18 months. It was that, original our academy, Ragda Patti, which has made us tough. Because it was a psychological, trauma for all of us. all of us who were inside, they were, I mean, physically we were all okay, but we, as the age, we all were around 50 plus. I'm 56, and we all had some, so to say, BPs and all that thing issues.
Was that looked after?
Yes. Yes, that was looked after. That was looked after by them.
राज्य के हित में काम कर रहे हैं और राज्य के हित में काम होगा।
JDU gone. RLD gone. TMC to go it alone. Aam Aadmi Party to go it alone in Punjab. Now NC to go it alone in Jammu and Kashmir.
आप कह रहे हैं कि एनडीए में वापस जाने के विकल्प खुले हैं आपके पास।
देखिए, हर दरवाजा पॉलिटिकल पार्टी दरवाजे खुला रखती है, खिड़कियां खुला रखती है, आगे चलते हैं।
Milind Deora, Ashok Chauhan gone. India now an alliance only on paper. The Congress unable to stem defections, losing firepower before the big fight. India now just an idea. Has the alliance collapsed? Top focus on To The Point.
India alliance now just an idea that exists more on paper, with most of its allies leaving to look at fighting it out alone. I want to cut across to our guest this evening, Ashutosh, author, political analyst, Sanjay Jha, political analyst, Rashid Kidwai, political analyst with us. Rashid Kidwai, what do you make of the latest which has come in? The NC also saying that the seat sharing talks have come to absolutely nothing, and the only way now is out, fighting it alone.
It takes two to tango, but the decision of National Conference not to go with the sort of India alliance, and particularly so Congress, is actually shocking. It's a kind of a big blow to the Congress in particular, because here is an ally which has been there through most part of through thick and thin of that, post-independent India. The personal rapport between Jawaharlal Nehru and Sheikh Abdullah, personal rapport between Rajiv Gandhi and Farooq Abdullah, and personal rapport between Rahul and Omar Abdullah was it's a matter of, some kind of legend. And now you see personal rapport is gone, and they are not even siding in the time of crisis when the opposition needs a person of the stature of Farooq Abdullah in particular. And Preeti, if you look at it in the context of Article 373 and the kind of politics that was there in J&K, I think it's a huge setback. Maybe Kashmir may be a tiny state in terms of electoral terms, but psychologically it tells you a story that the opposition unity is gone for a toss, and that the opposition themselves, a person of the Farouk's stature, doesn't fancy any chance. So he's talking about NDA, so that indicates that even he is willing to go back. Imagine what he had said all these things during, when the state was reduced to a union territory, etc. I mean, it tells a lot about Farooq Saab, but it also tells a lot about, as I said, Congress and opposition.
Well, it tells a lot about Farooq Abdullah and a lot about Congress and opposition. But in midst of all of this, Ashutosh, if you were to look at it, there is really no India alliance as such. There's no JDU, there is no RLD. The Aam Aadmi Party has already made it clear that there is no Punjab in terms of an alliance. Delhi has come on a very tricky seat sharing arrangement, which is still being worked out. And the Aam Aadmi is very happy to do it alone as well. And now you have the NC. And you have leaders within the Congress who are looking to defect to the BJP?
Preeti, three things. First of all, about Farooq Abdullah. I think we all remember that on 11th of February, Farooq Abdullah was called and summoned by the Enforcement Directorate to appear before them. Farooq Abdullah did not appear. And within 2-3 days, you get the message and the news that the Farooq Abdullah has also decided not to go along with the India alliance. So is there any relationship between these two, that ED is summoning Farooq Abdullah for interrogation, or Farooq Abdullah saying that he's going alone? Second thing, Ashok Chauhan. The Prime Minister on the floor of the House talked about Adarsh Ghotala. Adarsh Ghotala, how old is this? Everybody knows. What the High Court has given an order, everybody knows. But then within a few hours and few days, Ashok Chauhan decides to cross the line and goes to BJP. Is there any connection between Ashok Chauhan and Adarsh Ghotala and the Prime Minister saying in the ED? I think it's for the public to answer. And now, take the case of Arvind Kejriwal. Arvind Kejriwal, a very staunch supporter of Aam Aadmi Party and India Alliance. Everybody knew that in Punjab, there will be no alliance between the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress. But suddenly you see a press conference held by Sandeep Pathak, the organization secretary of Aam Aadmi Party, saying that in Delhi, Congress doesn't exist. We'll give only one seat. I know for sure that the negotiations were on, and almost on the 3 seats to the Congress was given, but now from 3 to 1. Is there any relationship between now Kejriwal on the court's order has to appear on 17th and 19th? The ED has called him. But
Ashutosh, but what are you trying to say? You're saying there is a relationship there, or are you just throwing this question out for anyone to guess?
No. I'm just saying, and everybody knows that on 19th of February, Arvind Kejriwal might be arrested, and his two senior colleagues, Manish Sisodia, he's in jail for almost a year, and Sanjay Singh almost for 4 months, and his one of the two colleagues had spent more than a year and a half. Which politician wants to go to jail? Farooq Abdullah at the age of 86 or Ashok Chauhan at the age of 66, who had been a chief minister, both of them, or Arvind Kejriwal wants to go to jail? I leave it to the public to answer the question.
This is all conjecture and speculation, Ashutosh. Ultimately, I'll bring in...
Absolutely not. I'm not.
No, okay, I'll tell you. Where the Aam Aadmi Party is concerned, the talks have actually come to a stall, at least with what sources tell us, have come to a stall on the seat of Bharuch. If they give them Bharuch in Gujarat, they're willing to give them 3 in Delhi.
Preeti, I have done enough journalism. I have been an editor, and I don't believe in conjectures. I believe in hard facts. And there is a hard fact.
But your hard facts are open-ended where the answer is concerned. Okay.
Preeti, let me complete.
Please.
The Prime Minister Narendra Modi in a public rally in Damo says 70,000 crore corruption against Ajit Pawar. And after a few days, Ajit Pawar walks up to the BJP, forms an alliance, becomes the deputy CM. These are facts.
Okay. All right. But like I said, you've stated facts and you've led it up to conjecture that why is it happening? Is it the ED there? Having said that, Sanjay Jha, even if it is the ED or not the ED or whatever the reasons that might be, some of them are actually telling us that the Congress is sitting on its high horse and refusing to go beyond in terms of even seat sharing talks. The question is, one by one, the allies have left India. India is no better than just an idea on paper. And where the Congress party is concerned, then you have the likes of Milan Deora, you have the likes of Ashok Chavan. Optics-wise, you have even, Shastri's son, grandson leaving. All of that is coming together.
Preeti, I haven't heard a word of what you've said. I couldn't hear a word of what Rashid or Ashutosh said. So I'm trying to be a genius here and trying to respond to you through lip reading. But the simple answer that I'm assuming that you're asking me is, where is the India alliance headed? In short and simple terms, it has struggled from the very beginning. And I think what is tragic for the India alliance is that it actually raised a lot of hopes. Rashid and Ashutosh and I have been on several programs where we actually felt that there was a reason to have a modicum of optimism, especially when they came up with this very spectacular name called India, which actually forced the BJP government to begin to talk of Bharat and changing the name of the country. You know, there was a period during the political narrative when India actually was on the front foot. And, you know, there was an expectation about the December election results. Karnataka was in the bag. Rahul Gandhi's yatra had been successful. And the alliance seemed to be cobbling itself well. But nobody can deny, and I've been one of the biggest advocates for an opposition resurgence. I'm still going to hope, a wild hope, that even now Narendra Modi and the BJP are defeated in 2024. I know everybody will say, well, that's wishful thinking, but you never know. The truth is that the India Alliance leadership has not delivered. And although I'm a huge Congress supporter, I believe, Preeti, the Congress party had to really demonstrate a very mature and a visionary political leadership. In letting Nitish Kumar go, I think they actually let the house of cards collapse. Because Nitish curated the alliance. Nitish wanted the alliance to work. But they could not handle his...
But Rashid Kidwai, letting Nitish Kumar go really wasn't as much to do with the Congress than with the other allies, because the Congress was one party which wanted him to at least, become a convener. It was the others who had put their foot down, because, some of the top leaders from the Congress would tell you that agar Mullah ji ko ek salam karna hai to karne dijiye, naraz to nahi honge.
Yes, I think, Preeti, you're right. It was not a Congress fault, but it was Congress' responsibility. Congress has a lot of, experience in statecraft, in politics, in alliance building. You have Sonia Gandhi. You have so many leaders in the Congress who could have done it, but they didn't do it. There is no my charge against this India alliance, and Congress being consistent. It lacks a sense of ownership. And from the beginning, to say that ED is doing this, ED is doing... And here is a man, talking about Farooq Sahab, who was in 7 months and more, he was in detention after, August 2019. And he didn't crack. So, to say that everybody is doing it, his father spent so many, days in jail the earlier time. Abdullahs are not like that who would just, succumb. Because, Preeti, in a nutshell, what has happened, that Mr. Abdullah and many others have lost hope. And that is a real telling, story of the opposition in 2024. See,
today is very interesting, because you're sounding more like Ashutosh, a little cynical, and Ashutosh is sounding more like you. But Ashutosh, I'll come back to you on this, because, there is no defense where the Congress is concerned. And the ED might be, on the doorstep of all those leaders that you have named, but ultimately, it was the Congress's responsibility to put the house together. Rahul Gandhi is continuing to march on his own tune, literally. You're on mute, Ashutosh, you're on mute.
प्रीति, हमारे अवध में एक मुहावरा है हिंदी में, कोई बुरा ना माने उसका, वो ये कि गरीब की जोरू है कांग्रेस, जो आता है दो थप्पड़ लगा।
All right, we seem to have, yeah.
संजय झा भी अगर कुछ वैसा कर रहे हैं तो मुझे उसमें कोई हैरानी नहीं है. You know, the fact of the matter is what? The fact of the matter is that today the state is so powerful, ruthlessly powerful, that they can do anything and can get away because institutions have lost their spine. The officers are hopelessly on the side of the government. So,
Ashutosh, can I, because I have to go into a news break, but I'm going to go to the others. You said the institutions or, the center is so powerful that everyone has lost their spine. But don't you agree? And Sanjay Jha and Rashid Kidwai that, if everybody's lost their spine, which includes the opposition also, why should the opposition go scot-free in all of this?
But Preeti, opposition is not only the name of the political parties. The opposition space is also occupied by the press, by the media, by institutions, by Supreme Court, by Election Commission, every institution. So my point is as simple. This demands a larger debate. Congress ideologically should have an alignment with all these political parties.
Okay, I apologize to the three of you. I need to quickly get into a news break which is coming in on the farmers' meet in Chandigarh, and it seems there are no farmers there. All right, right ahead of the centre farmers' meet, union ministers have met the Punjab Chief Minister, Bhagwant Mann. Union ministers, Bhagwant Mann meet underway. Meet underway in Chandigarh. Punjab Finance Secretary also present. But where are the farmers in midst of all of this? Why is it that the three mediators, Arjun Munda, Piyush Goyal, and the other the other leader from the centre intervening, haven't been able to meet the farmers? Kamal, throw some light on that. Kamaljeet Sandhu, can you hear me?
The union ministers...
Go ahead,
Preeti, let me break this down for you. The union ministers have now arrived for the meeting, and there you see Bhagwant Mann, the Punjab Chief Minister, arriving for the meeting, and thereafter the union ministers, they've had a separate one-on-one meeting in the Taj Hotel, and all these ministers, three ministers, Arjun Munda, Piyush Goyal, Nityanand Rai, making their way to Sector 26. This is the Mahatma Gandhi State Institute of Public Administration. And remember, this is an important, crucial Part 3 meeting. Remember, on 8th and 12th, there was a meeting held earlier. But now, these are the visuals we're getting to you from ground zero.
Farmers are there, Kamal, right now? Are the farmers there waiting for them?
Standoff continues at Shambhu. Well, the farmers were extremely punctual. They came around 4:30 Preeti. So they've been waiting for quite some time, showing a lot of patience for the central ministers to arrive. But it does seem that the Punjab government, who seems to be on centre stage here, tried to convince the farmers to actually come for the meeting. So yesterday, when the farmers said excessive force was being utilised, the officials from Punjab government went in, tried to convince them and got these farmers on board for this particular round of meeting. Now, is there going to be any out-of-the-box thinking? That's the key question, because the demands are the same, people are the same, the ministers are the same, but a heavy security presence out here, paramilitary deployed for the first time since the meetings have taken place. Continuously, what we've seen is that the counts of farmer union leaders have been suspended, even as BKU and the other groups are saying we are going to show solidarity, and in days to come they will decide whether they would actually join this particular group of SKM non-political and Kisan Mazdoor Morcha. So is this going to get bigger, or is this going to get resolved? Because remember, what the government has been saying is that they're already giving MSP on 22 crops. Meanwhile, the farmers say it's only on papers, it's only actually wheat and paddy for which they're giving. And clearly, on ground zero, we've been trying to show you this is the venue where the meeting is taking place, and a very crucial time, because remember, 1:30.
What role in all of this, Kamal, before I go into a quick break, what role in all of this does the Punjab Chief Minister from the Aam Aadmi Party, Bhagwant Mann, play?
So he's actually playing a mediator. mediator of sorts, because he's the one who's been talking about these farmers, and he's been saying all along, let's just not make them our enemies. Let's keep their demands and let's have a practical solution. Now he's been speaking all along, saying don't they make this India-Pakistan border the sort of force being utilized. Remember, Punjab has also written to Haryana government on the sort of action taken against farmers on the Punjab land. So all that to and fro is going on. Punjab government has also cancelled some of its own rallies, the Aam Aadmi Party leaders especially. So at this point of time, they're trying to side with the farmers. But remember, it's also the election year. This is a very precariously placed talks, and obviously with a lot of sensitivities involved. And now that the violence has occurred with stone pelting, parts of it from the farmers' side, and a big retaliation coming in from the security forces, the tempers are running high. The patience seem to be running out. Meanwhile, they're giving it one another shot to meet actually on a common ground to ensure that there is some sort of a solution, and this could be really, really tricky.
All right, well, we don't know what will really come out of this meeting. Well, we hope that there's a resolution and we can see the standoff at Shambhu border be mitigated, and at least the farmers go back and the government give them, if not the MSP, at least there's a middle ground that is found. So the violence that we've seen over the last 1 week doesn't ensue. Thank you, Kamal, for joining us with that. We're going to keep a keen eye on developments. Go back to Kamaljeet Sandhu. Chandigarh, it is the meeting finally taking place between the farmers and the three union ministers, Nityanand Rai, Piyush Goyal and Mr. Arjun Munda. Quick break. Up next, taking the electoral bond being deemed unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. That debate forward is Rahul Kabal.
मोदी ਦਾ ਗ੍ਰਾਫ ਬਹੁਤ ਮੰਦਰ ਦੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਚੜ ਗਿਆ ਉਹ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਉਹ ਇਹਦਾ ਗ੍ਰਾਫ ਡਾਊਨ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਆ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ
A shocking viral video of the most prominent face of the farm stir against popularity of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Jagjit Dallewal, the chief of BKU Ekta, the steering force behind the agitation, expressing his worry over rising popularity of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, especially after Ram Mandir Pran Pratishtha. In the video, Dallewal is heard promising to cut Modi down to size, adding that the farm stir presents a golden opportunity to cut Modi's soaring graph. The video was picked up by top advisor to government Kanchan Gupta and prominent BJP leaders, who called the stir a political conspiracy against jealous opponent of the Prime Minister, timed with upcoming elections. The Congress, which has backed the farm stir, however, denied any political affiliations to the protesters. The farm stir is officially aimed at ensuring fair MSP law and benefits for farmers. But in reality, is it just another Modi Hatao Andolan? Bureau Report, India Today.
इसे कहते हैं राहुल गांधी इफेक्ट। राहुल गांधी की न्याय यात्रा नहीं, बाय बाय यात्रा बन चुकी है, क्योंकि आज और अभी एक खबर आई है कि फारूक अब्दुल्ला साहब ने नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस ने ऐलान किया है कि वो भी बाहर चले जाएंगे इंडी अलायंस के, और वो अकेले ही लड़ेंगे चुनाव, अपने बलबूते पर लड़ेंगे चुनाव। राहुल जी, न्याय यात्रा छोड़िए, इंडी जोड़ो यात्रा निकालिए, क्योंकि देखिए, एक तरफ तो प्रभु श्री राम के भव्य मंदिर बनने के बाद, उसके अनावरण के बाद लोग जय श्री राम कर रहे हैं, परंतु आपके इंडी गठबंधन का अवैध ढांचा लगातार ढाता जा रहा है और लोग कह रहे हैं राम नाम सत्य है, और कह रहे हैं कि ये तो टुकड़े टुकड़े अलायंस है, टुकड़ों में अलायंस है।
ये बातचीत चल रही है, अलग अलग पार्टियों की अलग अलग मजबूरियां होती हैं, पर मुझे पूरा विश्वास है, क्योंकि नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस, पीडीपी, सभी